This is an ABP Life podcast.
So, all the football fanatics out there are probably going bananas. They can't keep calm. And why would they? It's FIFA time. The soccer extravaganza that takes place once in every 4 years is back. And this year, it's going to take place in Qatar, where matches will start from 20th November. And the final will be played on 18th December. Usually, FIFA is held between June and July. But to avoid the scorching heat in Qatar during that time, it was shifted to November this time around. This year, 32 nations will battle for the FIFA glory in one of the biggest sporting events held in the world. But, how many of you know the history of FIFA? When it all began? What are the laws of FIFA? Why is it held every 4 years? Do you even know the full form of FIFA? Don't worry. If you don't know, I'll decode all of this for you today. So welcome to Clear Cut, only on ABP Live podcasts. This is your newsman Rudrashish, and today let's talk about FIFA. So let's get started. So, first things first. The full form of FIFA is actually French. It's called Fédération Internationale de Football Association. I don't know if I spoke it correctly, but that's the best French I can do. It's the international governing body of football. It's one of the world's oldest and largest football governing body. The need for a single body to oversee association football became apparent at the beginning of the 20th century, with the increasing number of inter-nation matches. So the football governing bodies of France, Belgium, Denmark, Netherlands, Spain, Sweden and Switzerland decided to establish a single body to oversee international football, and thus FIFA was founded on 21st May 1904. Germany also joined the association on the same day by sending a telegram, but it is not considered a founding member of FIFA. The initial statutes of FIFA stated that only the represented national associations would be recognized. Players could only play for 2 national associations at a time. All associations would recognize the suspension of a player in any association. Matches were to be played according to the laws of the game of the Football Association Limited. Each national association was to pay an annual fee of 50 French francs. Only FIFA could organize the international matches. These statutes came into effect on 1st September 1905, decided by the founding members and Germany. Early attempts at the organization of a tournament began, but without the British countries. This failed. England, however, joined the association on 14th April 1905, and after that, FIFA slowly and steadily started to expand its footprint by organizing international matches, and also began to monopolize its matches. In 1909, the first non-European member, South Africa, joined the association, followed by Argentina and Chile in 1912. United States and Canada joined the association in 1913. But now after this came the First World War. International football was nearly non-existent during the First World War, and FIFA had nearly collapsed during that period of time. And that goes the same for the period during Second World War. During the period of 1938 to 1950, the game experienced a 12-year break, as many players had to join the war, and the friction between countries didn't lead to any international matches. But do you know about the first ever FIFA World Cup match? The first ever FIFA World Cup match was held in 1930 with Uruguay as the host nation. It was played between 13 teams, 7 from South America, 4 from Europe and 2 from North America participated in the tournament. The hosting nation Uruguay won the first FIFA Cup by defeating Argentina in the finals. The second FIFA Cup, hosted and won by Italy, was the first time it was broadcasted on live radio. I think that's enough history lesson for you people today. Now let's fast forward to 2022. Now, like the Olympics, FIFA is held every 4 years. Ever wondered why? Well, FIFA is actually one of the biggest sporting events that's played on the surface of planet Earth. The hosting countries have to undertake a series of infrastructural development to host such a huge event. The 4-year gap also ensures that it does not coincide with other international competitions like Copa America and the European Championships. It also helps the players who have other match commitments with their clubs as well, so the gap doesn't pressurize them too much. Now let's go to Qatar. Well, not literally. So Qatar has been on the news of being the host country for, let's say, for all the wrong reasons. Now, it's a huge deal to win the hosting rights for FIFA. It boosts the economy of the country, brings billions of dollars in revenue, and it's a competition between countries to win the hosting rights. But ever since Qatar was chosen to be the hosting country, people are not happy. Let me tell you why. So Qatar is a small country, to be honest. With less than 12,000 square kilometers, it is one of the smallest countries in the world. So how did Qatar manage to win the hosting rights for FIFA? Experts have pointed out this is the first FIFA Cup to be held in the Arab world. It will lead to growth of football in the whole region. Another big reason is money. According to media reports, Qatar has already spent almost $200 million for FIFA during the bidding process. Australia, by comparison, spent just $42.7 million on its bid. The United States spent less than $5 million. So this clearly shows that Qatar was able to afford the expenses and was desperate to host the FIFA Cup. And lastly, let me give you an interesting trivia from the FIFA World Cup this year. To host the FIFA Cup, Qatar has built a stadium from recycled containers. It is a makeshift stadium, so after the FIFA Cup, it can be disposed of, it can be demolished, and it can be set up anywhere else in the country. And the stadium is named 974, which is the country's dialing code. I mean, countries spent millions and billions of dollars on building a stadium. And here is Qatar, who is building stadiums out of just containers, and that too a makeshift stadium. What a creativity. Now, to speak further on this issue and give us some more interesting trivia from the game, we have the General Secretary of All India Football Federation, Mr. Shaji Prabhakaran, joining us on the show today. So welcome to Clearcut, Mr. Prabhakaran. It's an absolute honor to have you on the show.
My pleasure. Thank you.
So I would kick off by asking you this question. Why is it such a big contest between the countries to win the hosting rights for FIFA?
FIFA World Cup is the biggest event in terms of not only in sports but anything. It's a mega thing. And it brings the world's attention to it, and the impact it generates locally as well as in global context is really humongous. And that's where everyone fights it out, and it's tougher by passing here to get that, and therefore, but yeah, it's a huge investment. You have to devote a lot of resources to make that possible, and it's a commitment from the whole nation, and therefore, and it's only going bigger and bigger.
Exactly. Now, there's been a lot of debate about Qatar being the host of FIFA this year. So, why is Qatar a controversial location for the 2022 tournament?
See, at the end, it's since beginning when 2010-11, when Qatar got the rights to host the World Cup, various controversies have emerged. And I think now we have discussed enough on that for last more than a decade. I think now everyone should focus on football, what best can be seen, and football is a beautiful game, and it connects the global community, and that way, the controversies, whatever happened, good or bad, is over. We cannot really go back. And there were massive differences of opinion in a country of the size or the way it was done. But then at the end, now teams are ready, and fans are preparing themselves to be in Doha, in Qatar, and also the global community greatly looking forward what World Cup can provide in 2022, and that way, it's a bigger opportunity to promote more peace, more global harmony through football, and it should not happen that we divide ourselves just discussing why this happened, why that not happened, because that time has gone now. That's what I personally think. Yes.
So right now we should only focus on the game itself, the beautiful game that it is.
Absolutely.
All right. Now, sir, can you tell us anything about the economy surrounding FIFA? Like how it helps the economy of its hosting country? How much money does it go into arranging the whole FIFA tournament? Because it's a big event. It's a big extravaganza, to be very honest.
Yeah, exactly. See, it all depends, what are the infrastructure readiness you have and what is that infrastructure you need to invest into. See, it's not only the sporting infrastructure, your whole infrastructure in terms of transportation, in terms of hospitality, in terms of aviation. So therefore, the whole economic chain of activities are connected with hosting the World Cup, because the travel industry grows, the hospitality industry are able to grow, the construction business grows, because you try to develop metros, you develop roads, you develop the beautification around, and then the whole sporting facility. As far as Qatar is concerned, everything one can say, they planned in such a way that the whole city got a complete new look, from roads to the airport to the metro to the hotels, everything. And it creates a lot of job opportunities. And if it is rightly done, then the legacy impact is not only at the sporting level, but the whole economic value chain. And it can generate 7 to 8 billion to 10 billion worth of return.
All right, $7 to $8 billion.
Yes, and FIFA itself, that the biggest revenue comes from hosting the World Cup, and it only moves up when the 6 billion and up, the FIFA revenue, and that's how it puts that money in all the countries for the football development. And now,
and tell us, how much money does it go into arranging the whole tournament? Is there a budget?
No, see, it varies, because it's up to the country, because you need the sporting infrastructure, the stadiums, the training pitches, all that. That is one part. But then, you want to develop your city beautiful so that you can welcome the whole world community to different cities. Are you ready to host them, extend the best of facilities to them? Therefore, it will vary. It can vary from some 10 billion to 50 billion, and it can go up to say 70, 80 billion as well. But again, it all depends. If there are countries where the stadiums are already there, their infrastructure is there, you just need to bring in say the technology element or all that. So today, the technology, the whole green games, all that, you have to consider, so that every way it benefits the society and it benefits the country, and creates positivity around. So that way, the whole investment will vary from country to country, depending upon where they are and what is the standard one is going to put in place.
Right. So, my final question. Any predictions before the tournament kicks off?
See, it's going to be a very tough World Cup for many countries. The usual suspects are Brazil, the reigning champion France, and then Argentina. There can be Spain. Some say even England can do. But then for me, it looks like Brazil, Argentina, France. They are the top three countries.
Okay.
And Belgium, maybe, because they have, they can also surprise. But but anything can happen. And this World Cup is happening in the middle of the season. Therefore, it didn't. Earlier, it never happened that way. Earlier, it was at the fag end of the season. Therefore, in the middle of the season, maybe the players will perform in a different way, and that way, team, maybe we'll see some surprises in this World Cup.
Who will Mr. Prabhakaran be rooting for? Which team will Mr. Prabhakaran be rooting for this year?
I being traditionally, I'm supporting Argentina.
Okay, high five then. High five.
Yes.
All right, Spelsa, it was an absolute pleasure speaking to you about FIFA. And thank you so much for your precious time, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and all the best. Enjoy the World Cup. Bye-bye.
Same for you, sir. Same for you. Thank you.
So that's all the news and scoops I have for you today. This episode was produced by Lalit. This is your newsman Rudrashish Kanjilal signing off. Have a great day ahead. Enjoy FIFA Cup and keep listening to ABP Live podcasts.
This is an ABP Live podcast.